Do you see that girl running barefoot? The old man in the stadium whispers to the children beside him. One day, she will outrun everyone, even those with the best shoes money can buy. The camera of fate turns back in time. In a dusty village, on the edge of a small town lived Aisha, a thin, white-eyed girl of 13. She had only 2 pairs of clothes and one dream bigger than her world, to run. Whenever her chores ended carrying water, feeding the goats, helping her mother cook, she would run through the fields, her feet hitting the hot soil, her heart beat faster than the wind. But there was one problem. She had no shoes. At school, the other children laughed at her cracked heels and muddy soles. Some whispered, she's too poor to even afford sandals. Yet when the school announced a local sports day, Aisha's eyes sparkled. A 200-meter race. She begged her mother to let her join. Her mother said, Aisha, you have no shoes. People will laugh. But Amy, she pleaded, what if I win without shoes? Will they still laugh then? The morning of the race arrived. Dozens of children lined up in crisp uniforms and shiny sneakers. Aisha stood at the end barefoot, her school skirt patched, her legs trembling. The crowd giggled. Some boys shouted, hey, don't cut your feet on the track. The whistle blew. At first, Aisha trailed behind. The gravel stung her feet, but she thought of her mother's tired hands, of her father working long hours, of her siblings' hungry eyes. She pushed harder. Each step was pain but also power. Her legs moved like lightning. Her arms swung like wings. She didn't hear the laughter anymore, she only heard the beating of her own heart, and then gasps filled the ground. The barefoot girl had crossed the finish line first. The laughter turned into stunned silence. For a moment, no one clapped. Then, slowly, a teacher began to applaud. Soon the whole crowd erupted, but Aisha's joy was short-lived. When the medals were given, the announcer forgot her name. The officials looked uncomfortable. One whispered, we can't let a barefoot village girl represent us in the city competition. It would be embarrassing. That night, Aisha cried into her pillow. She had proven her strength, but society had chosen to look away. Yet in her heart, a flame burned brighter. They could deny her recognition, but they couldn't stop her from running. Months passed. Aisha ran every dawn, barefoot on rocky paths, her feet growing tougher with every cut and blister. Neighbors mocked her, saying, what's the use? Girls like you don't become athletes. Go help your mother instead. But there was one person who noticed her determination, Coach Salman, a retired runner who often walked by the fields. One day, he stopped and watched her race against the wind. You run like you're chasing life itself, he said. Why barefoot? I don't have shoes, she replied simply. He smiled sadly. Shoes can be bought. But the fire in your eyes, that cannot. From that day, Salman began training her in secret. He gave her old sneakers, torn, oversized, but still shoes. She cherished them like treasure. He taught her breathing, stamina, discipline. Sometimes she fainted from exhaustion, sometimes she wept from hunger, but she never missed practice. Finally, a chance came. The district-level race. Her school hesitated to enter her, but Coach Salman fought for her spot. If she loses, blame me. But if she wins, you must give her what she deserves. On race day, Aisha stood among city girls in gleaming sports gear. Their parents whispered, who let this village girl in? Look at her clothes. Aisha heard it all. For a moment, fear gripped her. But then she remembered the fields, the laughter she endured, her mother's worried eyes. She clenched her fists. This was not just a race. This was her life's chance. The gunshot cracked, she exploded forward. The track was smoother than the stones she trained on. Each breath was a battle. The girl beside her surged ahead. The crowd roared for others, but not for her. Halfway through, her old shoe tore at the seam. For a second, panic hit her. But then she kicked it off. She ran barefoot, just like the old days. The ground burned, but her spirit flew. At the final stretch, she gave everything. And when she crossed the line, she was first. The stadium erupted. No one could believe it. The barefoot girl from the village had beaten the best. Reporters rushed forward, cameras flashing. The announcer called her name loud and proud, winner of the district championship Aisha. Tears streamed down her face as she held the trophy. She wasn't thinking of the medal. She was thinking of her mother, waiting back home. A week later, she received a letter, a full scholarship from the National Sports Academy. Shoes, training, education, everything provided. When she showed the letter to her mother, they both cried. Not because life had been hard, but because she had proven that no dream is too poor if the heart is rich with passion. And so, Aisha's journey began from barefoot village races to national stadiums. Her story spread far and wide. And every time she stood on the track, people remembered, it wasn't the shoes that made her a champion, it was her unbroken dream. Passion outweighs resources when the heart refuses to give up. No matter how poor, how broken, or how hopeless life feels if you keep running towards your dream, the world will eventually cheer your name.